Attention. Go.
The final race of the morning is the Princess Grace Shawnigan Lake School against Hollandia Roeiclub. No coxes on board, so concentration required. See the bow rowers Shannon Kennedy and Claire de Kock before the race, having a look over their shoulder, trying to pick their lines, find their markers. It's an even start to this one.
Yeah, it is an even start, and I've been looking forward to this race for a while. You've got two good crews here. You've got the Canadian national team, and then you've got the Dutch crew, who I believe is their under-23 priority crew, and won the under-23 World Champs last year. So obviously slightly different crew, but you know that they're good in this event. So it should be a good matchup, and the Canadian crew, interestingly, none of them have competed at Henley before, so I'm sure they'll be very excited, and they've got some good experience on there with Carleen, who's stroking it, who's competed, I think, at 2 Olympic Games, so we'll add a lot to that crew, but yeah, 2 impressive crews.
I'm sure some of our Canadian viewers have set their alarm for this race and won't have heard us mention this when the previous Canadian boat was on the water. A happy Canada Day. We know that big celebrations over in Canada today, so I wonder if we'll have big celebrations here. Based on the start of this race, we might well do, because Shawnigan Lake School have got off to the more lively start, so there could be double celebrations for this Canadian quad that's on the water just before lunch. And the Dutch have got everything to do.
Yeah, I think the Canadian crew will be very happy with that. I'm sure they would have expected a good fight from this Dutch crew. So to take this much this early on, I would say they'll be pretty pleased.
The Canadians finished 9th at Varese at World Cup 2. Get a good view of the boats as they come down the course now. The start line fading into the distance. The state boat holders on the pontoons at the start will be off for their lunch now, won't they?
Yeah,
they're allowed to stand up. Yeah. First time in 3 hours.
They'll probably stand up very, very stiffly, but yeah, they might. Surely there's a roster. They might not be on for the afternoon.
That, or they might be napping all the way through lunch down there.
Yeah.
Pleasure cruisers on the far side of the water. You can see going the other side of Temple Island, that's a steamer. Look at that.
Yeah, and seeing all those boats down the side, it pays to remember how much wash these crews will be going through as well. And this bit looks quite calm, but you'll still be in that bouncy water and having to deal with that. So yes, it
you're
looks
thinking like an athlete there,
yeah,
Grace.
I know, I'm only 1 year retired, so it still crosses my mind. In 5 years I'll be out on those little boats, on the pleasure crafts on the side.
Enjoying your pins.
Yeah.
Temple Island, and this is the business side of the water, which we're watching at the moment, and the Canadians, Shawnigan Lake School, in danger of hitting the camera, going right past the camera there on the boom. Get a good idea of what they're up to, how they're doing their work. They're on the perfect line, aren't they?
Yeah, they've managed this course very, very well. They've made it look very clinical and very easy, and the Canadian women's program is very strong at the moment. They had a good Olympic Games in Tokyo, and they seem to be developing a really strong team. So this crew, that looks like it's a new project for them. They're trying to merge them all together. I think we'll be pretty stoked with this to come away and sort of this clinically row.
Yeah, especially as you've already mentioned, it's all of their first Henleys, yeah. So they would have been stepping into the unknown, and I think you're right. I think they'll be really chuffed that they're making it look relatively easy, aren't they?
Yeah, and regardless of how many regattas you've sort of competed in, Henley is a different ball game, so you've got a lot more to deal with.
It's bucket list, surely, for every competitor.
Definitely. I would say tough. And Carleen's been on the world rowing scene for a long time now, so to take this long to get to Henley, I'm stoked she's getting the experience of how cool it is, and I'm sure it was on the bucket list for her to tick off as well.
This is the younger boat, the Dutch boat. You can see now, Claire de Kock Vera Snijders, Jent Jongsma and Vidra van der Volen in the stroke seat. Quite a lot to do for them against a really good boat, and we've talked about it in previous races, but as a learning experience for that young Dutch boat, this is going to be very valuable on semi-finals day with variables. The conditions are not straightforward today.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be taking a lot away from this, and as an under-23 crew, you can make pretty good gains pretty quickly. So if they're working towards under-23 world champs, the amount that they can improve from here on in and learning from this experience is often you can make bigger gains then as you get more experience.
Yes.
So it'll be cool to watch their progress throughout the season and how they shape up and how they race in the later regattas that they are working towards.
Yeah, accelerated learning for the younger boat. Standing in really good stead for under 23 competition. This is the Canadian boat now. Shannon Kennedy in the bow seat, Grace van den Broek, Elisa Bolger and Carling Zeeman in the stroke seat.
Yeah, they're making it look quite easy now, and I'm sure in the back of their mind they'll know that they'll come up against some tough competition, and essentially the British quad tomorrow has already made it through. So
recovery now is going to be key. It's not too much longer to go till their final, so they've got an afternoon where they need to get away from it, get their feet up presumably, get some water on board, get some good meals inside them, and then back out tomorrow.
They'll be back out tomorrow for the final showdown, and it's a quick turnaround, and you don't know the schedule until quite late at the night, so
yes.
They might be in the morning, so they've got to be pretty onto it straight after this to make sure they're giving themselves the best chance to, I'm sure, as they all want to come away with the win in this event tomorrow.
Well, on Canada Day, it's the Canadian boat of Shawnigan Lake School to conclude the morning session here at Henley Royal Regatta on semi-finals day. They booked their place in the final of the Princess Grace Challenge Cup. The Dutch Hollandia Roeiclub over the line. A couple more strokes for them, and they complete their race. And that concludes the morning's action. Princess Grace Challenge Cup semi-final. They look like they've worked hard there, don't they? Although they made that look very efficient and very skillful. Just look at their reactions as they go over the line here. There weren't any jubilant celebrations. I think they had worked pretty hard to get down the course.
Definitely, and I think that sort of shows the talent of the Dutch crew as well. They are also a very, very strong crew, so they weren't able to sit out in front and cruise along easily. But I think often that is good to have quite a tough race before your final, because you're sort of building up. If you go from kind of an easy race to a hard one, it's a bit of a shock to the body. So as long as they recover and get ready now, I think this race will be a good stepping stone till tomorrow's one.